I would say since I was born, I feel like church has been like a constant. I feel like that's what my life was like. Thank my parents for putting me in a situation where I can grow up for it since I was born, because a lot of people don't have that. But you got a basketball tournament with your church friends, you go to church Sunday morning, and it's just God's family. I feel like it gave me like an extra family at church, and it helped me stay grounded and remember what's important. Constantine Karavangelos, rising junior at Good Counsel. I play basketball, and I'm Greek Orthodox for my faith.
Okay, awesome. Now you just mentioned Greek Orthodox. How long have you been a Greek Orthodox? Has it kind of been a lifelong thing? Tell a little bit about that.
It's kind of been a lifelong thing, but I didn't really become passionate about it till like I would say probably like summer going into fourth grade. Um, a lot of what brought me into it was friends. I made lifelong friends there, but then I was at a summer camp, a church camp that summer, and like I knew who God was and I knew I believed in him, but I didn't understand the impact of what he does. I went to confession at that summer camp, and I just felt the whole load of just like being open and honest with God coming like I felt like I had a backpack of rocks and it just all came off. And that's when I really started to put more effort and faith and put as much as I can into God.
That's awesome. So, what does your faith life look like now? Do you attend church on the weekends or other events throughout the week? What do you kind of do to keep your faith, involved in the church throughout the week?
So Greek Orthodox faith, it's not like Catholic where like there's services every day. So every Sunday, 9:30, I go, me and my friend Achilles, we serve in the altar. And then we also have Goya, which is like the youth community that our church has, and all the Greek churches in the area have it. And it has a fun side like basketball and other events, but we also do stuff to help the community. Like we feed on Saturdays. Sometimes we'll go and we'll make sandwiches for the hungry, and we'll make cards for veterans, and we all just come together through helping others. And that's like my day to day with God. And then also, obviously, every morning you wake up, you have a conversation with him. You go to bed, you have a conversation with him. And even when he doesn't answer, you know he's listening.
That's awesome. Got a lot of good stuff there that I want to break down a little bit. Let's start with the altar serving. Say you altar serve with Achilles. What do you two uh, do? What are your responsibilities? What's your roles? That type of stuff.
So in the back of the altar, we do the candles. We cut the communion because in Greek Orthodox, the communion's not, it's not wafers. It's like a loaf of bread. Cut it up, get it blessed, bless all the holy water. We take the candles out for the entrances. Um, we do the censer. We just do whatever we can to facilitate the Father's ability to do the service. And there'll be like anywhere between like 2 to 10 of us back there. It's like a brotherhood. And I found that I've grown a lot closer with my priest through that.
How so? Just in the fact that y'all are to get working together for the
Yeah, and
masses
you
and
have
stuff.
conversations with him that you wouldn't normally have. Like, no, there's like 200 people in the parish, but when you're in the back with the priest, there's only like 10 of you. So you get a lot more one on one. You get to talk to them more and you get to know them better. And most of them have been altar boys too. So like it's like my priest that just retired, Father Dimitri, he'd always say, "Where you stand, I was, and where I stand, you will be." Like always, like bringing up us up in the faith to be the next faithful parishioners or priest if that's where God takes you. So I feel like it just helped us all grow.
That's awesome. Do you think you might follow in Father Dimitri's legacy and be a priest of your own, or not? Not sure yet.
Um, right now, I'm feeling more of a calling to family lifestyle, but you never know what God has in store.
Yeah, whatever God calls you to do.
In the Greek faith, you can be, if you get married before you become a priest, you can be a priest. So it's always a possibility.
Ah, okay. So that's different from Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
So you can marry and then
If you're,
eventually and become a priest if you
mm-hmm.
want to.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. I did not know that. Now, going back to what you said earlier, you kind of talked about your quote unquote conversations with God, I guess more like prayers. What do they, kind of look like? Is it kind of, it's not, I guess, so much of a set prayer, like for instance, a Hail Mary or an Our Father, but kind of like a how your day is going, how you want God to work up, like kind of what is the conversations with God? as you call them, kind of look
So,
like?
so when I wake up or when I'm going to bed, I always start with like an Our Father, and I'll just thank him for everything that he's given me and ask him to help those in need. And then sometimes if I'm feeling stressed out, we use these. Let me see if I have one. We have prayer bracelets. Or here's one. So here's a prayer bracelet. These are made in like Greece or in America by like the monks in the monasteries. And so there's, depending on the rope, it's 33 or like 50 or whatever. And so I wear mine normally, but I did take it off for a basketball tournament because they make you take them off. But so you say the Jesus prayer on all the normal ones. So like, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And then you can do any prayer for the Virgin Mary on the blue ones. And then on the cross, you thank God for carrying his cross for you. And that really like just helps me like calm down.
That's awesome. So how many is there total?
This one's a 33, I think, but they make 50s and hundreds. I don't know where it is, but I have a big rope like this big that I got from this monastery in Greece, Meteora. And I don't know if you've ever seen the picture. They like, because girls aren't allowed in the monastery, they used to have to like send down nets to pick up the stuff. I don't know. It's a pretty famous monastery there.
Was the
Yeah.
experience there similar, different from, your parish here in the US?
So church in Greece is a little bit different. The services are a lot longer. They're all in Greek, and most of the churches in Greece, there's no chairs unless like there's a few chairs in the back or in the front for the elderly. But if you're not an elderly, you're standing the whole time. So it's just that's probably the difference. I mean, and the chanting is so beautiful there. Um, and then the monasteries, like you just feel like connection with God. Like there's a monastery near my village in Greece, um, Proso. So there's legend about this one icon when they were destroying all their icons. The Virgin Mary carried it there, and on the mountain by there, you can see her footsteps, and you can go into the original cave where she put the icon, and you can just feel like the presence of God. This is like high up in the mountains. One time, a kid fell off the ledge right there, and he like survived unharmed, just like a miracle there.
That's the divine providence of Mary. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know. So this saying that it's like named after the Virgin Mary or
Mm-hmm.
like blessed.
It's a icon of the Virgin Mary, and I don't legend has it that she carried it there when they were destroying all their icons through her spirit. I don't know.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
I don't know. This icon up here is modeled after. They brought an icon to our church that was crying myrrh, and so when I was in Sunday school, we got one of the little models of it. You
What
ever
do you,
heard about that? Icons they cry myrrh.
I have not. I was gonna ask you, what is an icon and what is? You tell me more about that because I.
Oh, so icons aren't really as common in the Catholic faith, but so like here you can see it's just pictures of saints, Virgin Mary, Jesus, and it's just like it's there to venerate. They almost got rid of them because people said we were worshiping them, but it's just like venerating them and like honoring them. So this is Saint Constantine and Saint Helen, and I don't know if you know the story, but Constantine helped his mom Helen find the cross. When at a point when they didn't need to do anything like that. He was the emperor, like he didn't need anything else, and that's what they did. And the Virgin Mary, and so yeah, I have a few other ones too, but they're really cool.
Were you named after Saint Constantine? I assume.
Yeah, so like when you're in the faith, when you're born, like you have your name and then your saint name. So I was named after my great grandpa, and his name was Constantine, and that's my saint as well.
Coincidence or just
No, like you think about it when you're naming your kid.
so Constantine, and then that was your great grandfather's name, and it also happens to be a saint. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure he was named after the saint.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Greek people are named like Constantine, Dimitri, Yorgo, which is like George, Yanni, which is John. Like most Greek names come from Nico for Nicholas, all of them.
Okay, that's awesome. I like the history and I like the how you're able to kind of connect not just with your family but with the faith as a whole through your names. That's very interesting. Does Constantine have a specific meaning?
The name itself,
Yeah.
no, it was just the saint's name.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Now, kind of pivoting a little bit, do you have a favorite Bible verse or passage
Mm-hmm.
story?
one of my favorite verses is 1 Corinthians 7, verse 17. And don't be wishing you were someplace else or with someone else. Where you are right now is God's place for you. Live and obey and love and believe right there. God, not your marital status, defines your life. So I feel like it's just telling us not to worry. Do your part, sow your seeds, and then work as hard as you can and let God take care of the rest. And when he refers to marital status, I feel like he's referring to like your earthly like status. I don't know. Like, don't worry what the people on earth think about you, because God defines your life.
Yeah, that's a good. I haven't heard that one, but I think that's definitely applicable.
Mm-hmm.
When you're wondering what your life is and what your future is. Has there been times where you've kind of doubted God's plan for your life, and maybe that verse has kind of been a something you can lean on?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things that I like basketball, for instance, or like paying attention in school, ADHD in general. I feel like when I would struggle, like I got cut from my first few basketball teams when I was like in third and fourth grade, and like I struggled in school until like middle school because I was just trying to cope with my ADHD. And I feel like I would just look to that. I would do my Jesus prayers and keep working, and I would know that if I keep working, God will take care of the rest.
That's awesome. So your faith has kind of been a pillar, through your ADHD
Mm-hmm.
challenges.
I would say like since I was born, like I feel like church has been like a constant. Like I feel like that's what my life was like. Thank my parents for putting me in a situation where I can grow up for it since I was born, because a lot of people don't have that. But that was like every Sunday, church. After church, hang out with your church friends. Then when you're older, Goya. Every other weekend, you got a basketball tournament with your church friends. You go to church Sunday morning, and it's just God's family. I feel like it gave me like an extra family at church, and it helped me stay grounded and remember what's important.
Yeah, I appreciate the family aspect of the church community
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you that second family, that
Mm-hmm.
second group of people that you
Mm-hmm.
can cope with, share with, play basketball with, celebrate Christ with, all that good stuff. That's awesome. Is there another instance that you could think of where your faith's kind of been a victory in your life?
Yeah, a few. I mean, I hadn't really experienced any family losses in life yet. And then when my uncle, my great grandpa died like 2016, 2017, back to back, I remember the first time I heard about my uncle, because he was the first one. Like I just started crying, and then I started praying, and I felt better, and I knew he was in a better place. And then also growing up in today's society, like lust is everywhere. And like the only way to avoid it is to stay strong with Christ. And we're all going to fall, and we're all going to fall in the lust at some point. But you just got to keep fighting back. That's the devil trying to fight. So if you confide in God, the devil's gonna devil knows he won't be God.
That's right, and that's why it challenges us.
Mm-hmm.
The harder the challenge, the bigger the blessing.
The devil tried to tempt Jesus already, and he lost. So if we can, we're human. So I mean, we're not perfect like Jesus, so we're gonna fall into his temptations. But if we pray to Jesus and we use his power like he did the three temptations, we'll make it through it.
Absolutely, man, for sure. All right, kind of hitting the home stretch here. You've obviously been involved, in faith, the Greek Orthodox faith, your whole life, and you talked about how much it's blessed you and helped you. What might you say to people who are a little unsure about their own faith status? Maybe they've been involved in the church at a younger age and kind of drifted away, or maybe they've just never been involved in a church. What might you say to them?
I would say like a lot of people feel like they don't fit in like their denomination, and I feel like all denominations are like it's all church, it's all God's work, and maybe try to find the denomination that fits you. I feel like a lot of church society has been divided into different denominations, and they feel like it's like different faiths, but it's all the same faith. A lot of the time, just presented in a different way, especially between the Catholic and Orthodox, because almost all their beliefs are exactly the same about communion and everything. So I feel like try to find the place that's right for you, where you feel like you are receiving God's message and you can grow closer to God.
Very well said there. Just, because some places are better for other people than other
Mm-hmm.
places. And so I think just kind of finding where you need to be planted, where God wants you to be planted, I think will definitely be a good starting place for sure. All right, last question for you here, Constantine. I like to end these talks on I will statement, which is like a mini, you know, statement on something that you can improve in your faith life in the short term. So what might be an I will statement that you might want to try and grow in?
I will ignore temptations to become angry and yell at those around me when I become frustrated with stuff, and just confide in God and use his help and stay calm.
That is so true about not getting into being angry, because it's a lot easier to be angry and it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
easier for it to boil over, and just to grow and grow and grow and grow, and then all of a sudden you're exploding with anger. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's very admirable of you, that you want to help, try and combat that. And it's hard because, again, as you mentioned, we're not perfect, we all sin, but I think that's definitely a great small step that you can take, to help control, not just your emotional mind, but I think that when you control your emotions, you can control your spirit, and it all kind of goes together. All right, well, Constantine, I really appreciate your time, man, taking a few minutes talking about your faith and sharing about the icons and the prayer bracelet, all that good stuff. Thanks a lot, man. We'll hopefully have you back soon.
Yeah, thanks for coordinating this.